Wrestling fans, welcome into a very special edition of Strong Style. Of course, I am Jeremy the Impact York, and I am joined by my special guest. Second time on the show, had him right before the first show. He is the leader of Next Level Championship Wrestling. He is Josh Fields. How are you, bud?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you back on. I meant to have you back on in between this, but I think life got in the way of both of us.
My life's definitely been a little topsy turvy here in the last couple of months.
And we will definitely get into that. But first, I know you have a big show coming up on July the 19th, Blaze of Glory. Tell us a little bit about that show.
We're cranking up the tournament. We're going to crown men and women's champion on the September 27th event. So we're ramping that up. We look forward to. We're going to have a lot of talent that's new to the Augusta area, but old to the Augusta area as well. Trying to intertwine the new and the old, and so fans to have somewhat of a familiarity with the group and actually learn some new guys as well.
Hey, it's always good to integrate the new and the old and kind of mix it together. And I think that crowd in Augusta you have will definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely, I love our guys, our men and women.
Hey, you have had some star-studded people out there, some of the who's who of the Georgia wrestling scene. What have these shows really been like? I know you've been really building up, but how has the crowd taken on to the Skrillas and the Wow Women of Wrestling Superstars and all those that you've had?
I mean, it's growing. I mean, it's just like anything you're starting from scratch. I know everybody's like, well, with IWE, you know, I'm not with IWE anymore. It's a completely different product, and like I say, we've been average. We average 150, 160. I want more than that. I know we should double that crowd, and we're working hard. Well, depends who you ask. Working hard to get to that plateau.
Hey, there's always two sides to a coin. We all know that, especially in the wrestling world. Sometimes that coin has a bunch of different faces, and that's just it's just part of how it works sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely been. I've learned about that over the last couple of months. That is for sure.
Is there any match announcements or any event things? I know, I believe, is it this show you're actually going to explain to everybody on that show why you left IWE or why you're no longer with them? Is there any other announcements or any matches you want to talk about?
Absolutely. I can run down the whole card for you right now. Um, we're going to have Savannah Evans versus Kelsey Reagan in the women's championship tournament match. We're going to
Dig it.
have Elijah Drago versus Carl Hager, Alan Angels versus Drew Hood, Aaron Berry
Hmm.
versus TJ Era, Tristan Moody versus Charlie Keels, and Chad Skywalker versus an opponent to be named at the show.
Hmm.
And the main men Nightmare Factory Heavyweight Championship Open Title Challenge will take place.
Hmm.
Um, the one of the gentlemen from the main men is the Nightmare Factory Heavyweight Championship, and he's going to champion, and he's putting that on the line against anybody that wants to step in the ring and go one on one. So it should be interesting to see who shows up.
Man, if I didn't already know enough about that them, I would almost say I'd travel to Augusta to take my shot at trying to be the champion there. I love when people cross promote like that. I've seen it recently in the Atlanta area where the Deep South champion did an open challenge at a PCW show, and you're seeing this intermingle of people starting to work together, and I think that's just fantastic.
Oh, I'm so tired of the tribalism in wrestling. It's like, if you like wrestling, like we have several events here, and guess what? I'm going to name them. They're Phoenix and Viral, and they do very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
And and kudos to them. They worked hard. They they you know Viral was you know Viral was going through their peak, and then when COVID hit, it kind of put them back, and now they're back to where they were. And Phoenix is you know running shows all over the place. Good on them. I mean, more people are successful, more people are getting paid.
Exactly, exactly. That's what I've always said. Is the more options, that means the boys and girls are getting opportunities and they're getting paid and they're getting in front of more eyeballs and that's just going to help all of us.
Absolutely, I agree.
Absolutely. What's the start time for that show?
We're actually going to start at 7:30. We
Seven
normally
thirty.
start at 7. For this show, is pushed back to 7:30, and it's an hour and a half show. I promise you, we'll be out of there. You'll be out of there as a fan by 9 p.m.
Hey, that's a good thing because a lot of people, even on a Friday or a Saturday night, are like, well, maybe I want to bring the kids, or man, I don't want to be out late. I have to work in the morning, and so many of these shows run to 11 or 12, and trust me, I've been branching out myself and covering more things this summer, and even ones that were up the street from my house. It's nice to be at a show 2 miles from my house, but I still didn't leave there till 11 p.m. by the time I had kind of uh talk to everybody afterwards. So the fact that you're saying by 9 o'clock ish, things can happen. By 9 o'clock ish, you're going to try to get people out of there. I think that's great, and knowing that an hour and a half of entertainment, that's fantastic.
Yep, that I promise you, 9 o'clock or 9:05 or something like that. But the 9 o'clock hours when when the event will be over.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And like I said, uh, it has been fun to follow along with you over the journey because we had you on right before your first show, I believe, in January, when you were going to have Skrilla and some other ones on. And it's been fun to follow it. Maybe at some point I'll find a way up to Augusta. It's a little bit of a drive from where I'm at, but you're doing some really good things up there. But I would be remiss if the chat we had when we first started talking about having you back on, um, for people who do or don't know, your former matchmaker, Ace Haven, uh, came out, and him and Amy and some others said a few things about you and the way you conduct business and things like that. And Georgia Wrestling History had them on the show, and I reached out to you and I said I don't think anybody got to hear from you on that, and so I'll just kind of open the floor to you as to where you might want to go with that. If there's something you want to say about that, maybe try to set the record straight.
Absolutely. So anything that has went on with the next level, good, bad, or ugly, falls at the feet of me. I am responsible. No matter if it's what I always tell people, my employees, anybody. At the end of the day, I'm responsible. If anything goes wrong, they're coming to me. If anything goes, pats on the back, those are great, but people don't see behind the scenes. And a lot of things went wrong. None of it was anybody's fault. Just crazy things happened with the venue. Um, to say that they were not in the loop, that was not accurate as well. Um, but two sides to every, three sides to every story. But the two things that really did have a problem is once it became personal and affected my children. As some of you may or anybody watching this, that I can't without 100% fault say who it was, but my Google account, which was adjusted to my YouTube account, uh, as my children were trying to watch Game 7 of the NBA Finals, disappeared, and so did our Twitter account,
Mm,
and several other things associated with.
mm.
Um, Also, in that interview, that there was a couple of things that was said about talent pay. The only reason that they because I think my audio just dropped off. You got me?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Gotcha. They account somehow, some way. Still, I guess he figured it out, or I don't know. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. And some things were said on there that should not have gotten out, and that for the talent that things were said or things that were gotten out, I apologize. That never should have happened. Also, but there's always but wait, there's more. So there was a comment that was made that was said that there was three talents that were left off the show, but and you can guess why that was. Well, little did anybody know, and nobody's gotten my side of the story. And I provided screenshots to you as well, but they didn't know
Yep.
because surprise, surprise, that came from my personal account, so nobody
Hmm.
would know that message even existed. And you saw the message and you saw the
Yep.
dates. Nothing that I could doctor. You saw what account it came from,
Yep.
and you saw exactly what it said. I
Yep.
don't have to put it out in the I don't have to put it out in the ether
Yeah.
as we call it now. But you saw the message, you saw the dates, you saw the times. There's no way that I can document like doctor that,
Mm-mm.
but we didn't know about that because it came from a different account, and
Right.
nobody knows that message existed. And that was my problem with Georgia wrestling history. That if you can go on there and bash somebody's character for an hour and a half, I mean, can you at least let me have my say or say, hey, we might want to pump the brakes on this, because this is we're putting too much out there without enough. And and anybody that knows me, the that last one that we're always said it is because we can do drive by on people's character now, and it's all cool, and we're just gonna see who it sticks and who it affects. Well, you know that affected my wife, that affected my children, and after me, I don't care all day long. But I don't know, you know, I don't know why all that had to take place over. And I love wrestling. I mean, I love it, but at the end of the day, it's wrestling. And people are people, and there has to be a line drawn. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
Okay.
I did. There's not a lot that I can. Excuse me. There's not that a lot that I can prove. That I want to prove or that I care to prove. But when someone makes an allegation of that nature, um, that allegation that can go a long way in hurting somebody's anything that could I mean that could come back to me at my job. So I wanted to show you that. Wait a minute, that part is definitely not true, and there you go. And we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, because like you said, it involved the messages I see here involved your communication with one of the three people that were mentioned in that particular thing you're talking about, and actually a second member of that one had something to do with kind of the way the conversation went as well. Uh, like you said, since it was on your personal account, it wasn't made public, which you know, private stuff is supposed to be private. I hate that it affected your family the way it did too, and all. And I mean, it seems like you've been able to move past it a little bit though, which is good. I mean, obviously you probably have a different matchmaker because we know Ace is no longer there. But based on the card you just told me, it's not like you really missed much of a beat. It doesn't sound like.
Yeah, and to my and I am going to tell you this, and I thought that Amy and Ace and me and my wife, I thought, we had some conversations behind closed doors, and I thought everything was cool. And then, I got a message by, Larry Goodman, and it was really three questions, and I answered them at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And next thing I know, it's like, what the heck's all this? It's like I'm at work.
Yeah.
My wife and I have way two different personalities, so she was ready to dig in and fight, and I was like, yeah, if you get in a fight with somebody online, who wins?
Usually nobody.
Exactly. So I moved on from it. You know, were criticisms fair? Absolutely. I mean, it's happened that, like I say, we're out of our control. Um, I think a lot of things were fabricated to make it look like a favor in one person's, view. But hey, that's fine. You know, whoever wants to look like the hero of the story can look like the hero of the story. I'm moving on to July the 19th, and we're moving on to a new chapter, and I can't wait. I am extremely proud of this event that we're putting together, and I hope everybody in Augusta that can come out on July the 19th at 7:30 be there.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it's kind of good that hey, you guys have parted ways, and if it's not going to work business wise, that he and her can go back to Pro South or wherever they normally are booking and working the most, and you keep pushing next level and keep pushing things to the next level as only you can.
And I will put this out there, and this is the only place it's going to be heard. So I will say this. I know there's people come to the indie shows and they like to leave a little early. Do not leave early.
You know, always it's just like a movie. Even if there's nothing on the credits, stay for the credits. Stay till the lights come back on in the theater because you never know what's going to happen right there on the back end.
Yes, sir.
I say it for anybody who hadn't figured out or doesn't know you well enough, Josh. It's he just gave you a giant reason to stay till the end because there's a good chance something's going to be there.
I promise you.
But absolute that like I said, let's getting back into your card and like you said, it competition is a little stiff in Augusta. You were the third member of the party over there because both of them had been running for a minute already and it's tough being the new guy in town like that, but you're still drawing good numbers, you're growing in numbers. You got a pretty good venue there from all the videos and screenshots that I've seen. I've had friends that went over either to work that show or to go to that show, and they're impressed with production over there.
Oh, yeah, the Legion's always going to be. Everybody wants me to run places, and I actually tried, and it didn't work out. I told my wife, it's just what the Legion, the American Legion, is what's meant to be for me in wrestling. So as long as I'm running wrestling shows, I'll be right there in the American Legion.
Absolutely. And as you said, July 19th at 7:30 is Blaze of Glory. You also hinted that the end of the tournaments and stuff like that are going to be in September. So I know that was for the few people that found out that I was going to have you on tonight. One of the questions was asked that oh he's calling his next show not even episode 5 but Blaze of Glory. I bet it's his last show, and I said I bet you it's not because I know of things beyond this show that already tell me Blaze of Glory is not the last show.
No, not even close. Uh, the what is it? The rumors of my demise have quietly been exaggerated. I'm not going anywhere.
Nope, not at all. I tell you, I've seen part of the people you have on that card coming up. Ilya Drago is tearing up the independent scene right now. I have seen him at Mucha Lucha shows, and for that kind of show to be all about Lucha Libre, and then this big kid comes out like this, big and strong, and the kind of stuff he can do. I mean, if for nothing else, if the surprise he talks about on the end of his show, folks, and the fact that Ilya Drago is going to be there, that is two reasons right there to be there on July the 19th.
Absolutely. I am telling you right now, it tickets are $20 for front row, 15 for floor, and 10 for general admission. And I promise you, your money will be well spent that night for the talent that we're going to have in that ring.
Absolutely. I for a show that big, that is more than fair. I grew up going to American Legion shows, so anytime one's in an American Legion or a VFW or something, it kind of hits back to the childhood for me. So I always
Absolutely.
appreciate when people run shows at places like that.
Absolutely. There's just something about it that like I say, I've been to venues and I've been to big venues, but whenever I pull into that American Legion, I always feel like I'm at home.
Absolutely. And let's go back over the card one more time for everybody who may not have caught it at the very beginning. And which of these are the tournament matches?
All right, so Savannah Evans and Kelsey Reagan are the women's championship match. Drago and Hager, um, Angels and Hood, Barry and Era and Moody and Keels and Chad Skywalker versus mystery opponent. Those are all going to be the heavyweight championship tournament matches. So the only thing that's not going to be a heavyweight championship tournament match is the Nightmare Factory Heavyweight Championship Open Challenge.
The Open Challenge. And that's like I said, that's fantastic. How many times can you go to a show and somebody else's heavyweight championship is being defended on that show? And for everybody that goes, oh, well, we know that the champion is going to retain. Well, I point to mere TV that we watch now, and we saw NXT and Impact Wrestling. TNA swap some stuff back and forth, and we saw the major heavyweight championship from TNA be won by an NXT person. So you can't just assume that, oh, the out of towner is going to always retain. You can't assume that. Absolutely. But did we leave anything out? I want to make sure if you got anything else to promote or anything, I don't leave anything out.
That's it. We're
Okay.
ready to July the 19th. Let all the drama be, and we're ready to go.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to see what happens with that show. It's one of the good shows out there for sure. I mean, there's a lot of good shows, but it's been fun following along with you for the last few months. Like I said, hopefully I can try to make it out there sometime to a show. But for anybody in the greater area there, when you're Augusta, you're right there near, you're near Greenville, South Carolina. You're right on the border of so many great places that go on down July the 19th at 7:30 and see Blaze of Glory Next Level Championship Wrestling. Josh will be there. He promised a surprise. Somebody else's titles on the line. Tons of qualifiers in this tournament. This is one of the most loaded tournaments I have seen in a good while on the Georgia wrestling scene.
Well, I'm ready. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
And other than that, I think we have reached the end of the show. Josh, we appreciate you being on. Appreciate you being open and honest about the stuff in the middle, and more appreciate you coming on and talking about this great show. And I hope you do 300. I hope you do 300 or more on it because I think wrestling fans are going to see what kind of special stuff you have going on.
I hope so. Like I say, it's going to be a great show. I want everybody to come out. Once again, you can buy tickets at nextlevelaugusta.com. You can, one thing that's I've done it since the beginning is if you're a veteran, family of veterans, or anyone that qualifies, vettix.com. You can go to vettix.org, excuse me. I post plenty of links on our socials, and we easy to find for us. And I just go on there. Please come out. Um, I want anybody that wants to come out and have fun and enjoy the show. Be out there. It is a family show. Yes, there is a bar. People drink beer, but it's not one of those bars where you get out of hand. And we want kids out there. People do drink beer, have a good time, but it never crosses that line.
Absolutely. And like he said, you can find them on all the social medias. Just easily search Next Level Championship Wrestling or NLCW Augusta, any of that should bring up all the links and everything, right?
Absolutely. And if you're not if you're not coming to our show, go to a show. Everybody's working hard. Everybody's putting in the time. Everybody's putting in the sweat.
Yep.
And I know how it is to get this thing going. And I have massive respect for everybody out there. And if you can't make it to Blaze of Glory in Augusta, make it to some other show because I promise you that promoter, that owner, that talent is going to appreciate it and be so grateful that you came out.
Absolutely. Always support indie wrestling, folks. Let this be your daily reminder to go see an indie wrestling show in the state of Georgia right now. Literally any night, you can probably find one somewhere near you. But Josh, it has been fantastic to have you back on. I promise it will not be 6 months between your next appearance on here. And we wish you all the best, and we will see you down the road.
Sir, thanks for having me.